Alright, what's up everybody, back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we're going to be doing our last episode of the look-in for this season. And it's the 30th episode, and it's about, of course, the NBA champion, the Denver Nuggets, talking about this entire season, this historic year for the Nuggets, and their future, because they might not be done here, you know? Yeah, thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn on notifications, do all that stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. We helps out a lot. So it's the 30th episode of the Look In series. If you haven't seen any of the other 29 episodes, there's a playlist on my channel you can go over. It's called Look In 2022-2023. I'll put a card up here for it. And you can click on there and watch all 30 teams that I've talked about in the offseason, of course. Some of them might be a little bit outdated because a lot of them I did on the non-playoff teams where after the season was over. Anyway, I don't want to waste a lot more of your time, so let's get right into it with this one. So the Denver Nuggets this season, in the regular season, they finished 53-29, the best record in the West. Their first time ever in franchise history, finishing number one in the Western Conference. If you look at the last 2 years for the Nuggets, actually last 3 years, 2020, they were in the bubble. They came back from 2-3-1 series lead against the Jazz and against the Clippers. Made it to their first conference finals in 2009 with Carmelo Anthony and Allen Iverson. And they lost to the eventual champion Lakers in 5 games, I think it was. I think they lost in 5 games. You know, Jamal Murray had his insane playoff run. The Nuggets just were really good. 2021, Nuggets looked like they got better at the trade deadline. They traded for Aaron Gordon. They traded basically not that much to get Aaron Gordon. Got him, or integrated him into the system. And then there's a game in Golden State late in the year before the playoffs started where Jamal Murray comes down and tears his ACL. And that was just a big blow to them, this team. They thought they were going to go on another great playoff run. Jamal Murray, their guy that literally was putting up 50-point games and 40-point games like it was nothing in 2020 in the playoffs, had one of the most historic runs by an individual player. He goes down. They go into the playoffs. And they eventually lose in the second round to the Suns, who eventually get to the finals and lose to the Bucks. And then 2022, Jamal Murray knew he was going to be out the whole season, but then Michael Porter Jr., who people expected to take a big jump, especially after he got paid a lot of money, doesn't play that many games. He only plays about, I want to say, 11 games that season, 9 games, because his back, which was a big problem as to why the Nuggets, he fell to the Nuggets back in the 2018 draft. Despite being one of the top high school prospects, he had a back problem in Missouri, had surgery on it, came in, fell in the draft, went to the Nuggets, and the back, he missed the entire rookie season because of his back, and then his back started to flare up again, missed the entire last 2022 season. Nikola Jokic puts on an insane performance, wins his second straight MVP, and they eventually lose in the first round to the champion Warriors. So the last 2 years, when the Nuggets were expected to go to runs and have good teams, just an injury or something happened that really kind of plagued this team. And that kind of I feel like that is a little bit of the reason as to why the Nuggets weren't really as heavily respected in the playoffs as they were, as they should have been, because, they didn't really do much the last few years, but that's also because of injuries and stuff like that. So coming to the 2023 season, Jamal Murray's back, Michael Porter Jr. is back, Jokic is here, Aaron Gordon, another year of integrated into the system. They make small moves in the offseason. They made a big trade. They traded for KCP, Xavier Calippo. They traded away Will Barton and Monte Morris, 2 very key pieces to the last few year teams. Will Barton was a long-time Nugget, was an all-time leader in 3-pointers made. Monte Morris was a gem they found late in the second round, became one of the best backup point guards in the league. But they had to get rid of him to get KCP, a guy that was a champion with the Lakers, one of the better 3-and-D wings, a guy that really just complemented the entire team. They also got Ish Smith in that deal, one of my favorite vets. I shout to Ish Smith. And then they also made a signing for Bruce Brown. They signed Bruce Brown in the offseason for a 2-year deal. Well, the first year was $6 million, then he had a $7 million player option, which is very surprising when it came out that actually had no offers, because in Brooklyn, he was a fantastic role player, I feel like, for the Nets. He was a 6'4" center, basically. But he goes to the Nuggets. They make good moves. The whole team is back. And they kind of just cruised through the regular season, honestly. Like, the regular season, they just were cruising. They never had any weak points, but they never had any crazy high. They just always were just good the entire regular season. And then ultimately, they ended up being number one. 53 wins. Nikola Jokic in the running for MVP, but doesn't win his third straight MVP. But it didn't matter because now they go into the NBA playoffs and they kind of just run through the NBA playoffs. Honestly, they beat Minnesota in 5. They go to the second round. They were tied 2-2 with Phoenix, but that's only because Devin Booker and Kevin Durant had to literally put up NBA 2K numbers to win a game. They beat them in 6. They embarrassed them on their home floor in Game 6. Go to the conference finals against a tough Laker team that was clicking. Swept them to win their first ever Western Conference championship and make it to their first ever NBA finals against that 8 seed Miami Heat, the underdog story. And they got through them in 5. And all of a sudden, the Nuggets are the NBA champions now. For the first time in franchise history, they are champions. What an historic, outstanding year. Just want to get into some individual players and stuff like that. Starting with Nikola Jokic, obviously. I mean, the guy is a monster. Back-to-back MVPs, and now he finally gets respected. It's funny because during the season, everyone was like, we don't want Jokic to win our third. We want Embiid to win it. And then as the playoffs went, the script kind of flipped, and we're like, damn, we should have given Jokic his third straight MVP. But the regular season, he averaged 24, almost 12, and almost 10 assists per game with a steal. Shot 63% from the field, 38% from 3, 82% from the free throw line. In the playoffs, he averaged 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, 9.5 assists, a steal, and a block. He shot 54% from the field, 46% from 3, just a little bit under 80% from the free throw line. Wins Finals MVP, won Western Conference Finals MVP, and he is now jettisoned himself up after this playoff run in the big man rankings. I'm not saying he's a top with this or whatever, but he has really just kind of climbed up, and now he was a guy that no one really but now no one really knew about. The national media, the casual fans didn't really know much about him, but now everyone kind of loves him. He kind of has this mentality of like, hey, as long as we win, I don't really care. I don't care about an MVP or an award or anything like that. I just want to, play basketball, and then go home with my family and with my horses, and I respect it. He came out in an interview, I think either it was reported either early today or yesterday. He said, yeah, basketball isn't the most important thing in my life. And I think that a lot of people kind of took that in a weird way. But, I mean, I understand it. I mean, he's not a guy that's, basketball is literally my everything and everything like that. Guys like Kobe and Jordan who were like, had that mentality. But, I mean, I understand it. He has other important things. I even said it, like, basketball is just one of the things I'm good at. He didn't choose to, okay, I have to be basketball. I want to be. He just kind of was good and was like, you know what? I'm going to make money off this. Kind of in a way. But, I mean, he's such a fantastic player. Kind of a unicorn. I mean, we've never really seen a guy like at his size that has all these different skills of could score in the paint, has great moves and footwork, even though he's a bigger guy and not very athletic. He can do that. Rebounds the ball very well. Defensively, he's solid, can move well, can shoot the ball from the mid-range and the three-point. But the passing ability, I mean, he's literally a point guard. He's literally just a point guard that grew too much. That's what he is. He's a point guard that accidentally grew to 7 feet to, I don't know what he is, 260, 270, whatever. But he's mentally a point guard. I mean, the way he just finds his teammates, the way he's just unselfish, he doesn't mind having 16, 14-point games if that means he's got 15 assists and everyone else is eating and they win games. I mean, you look at the playoffs in the regular season in his entire career, when he has big scoring games, usually they lose or in a tight situation because that's not the player Jokic is. Jokic isn't the type of dude that wants to go out and drop 45 and 50 every night to win games. He's a dude that's comfortable with his 25, 24, again, 20, maybe even like 16, 14 points. But if that means he has 14 assists, that means, all right, Jamal Murray's got 28. Now, KCP's hit 4 threes. FPJ's hit 5 threes. Aaron Gordon has 16 points. Bruce Brown has 12 points. Jeff Green has 8 points. It's like, now I'm going to get everyone else involved. And you still have to worry about me, too, because now I'm Jokic. I can still go out and get 30 if I really want to, but that's not what I want to do. I want to have everyone else going. So he's just a phenomenal player. And, yeah, this could be the start of something insane for the Denver Nuggets. And Jamal Murray, I want to talk about him as well. After 2020 in the bubble, he had that insane run. Then unfortunately, he tore his ACL, and he missed out on the 2021 and 2022 season. And we know that story going around last year's of after he tore his ACL, he went to Mike Malone. He was like, hey, are guys going to trade me now? I'm damaged goods. And now to go from that to coming into 2023, playing very well in the regular season. Regular season, he averaged 20 points per game, shot 45% from the field, 39% from 3. But then the playoffs, he just went on a whole different level. In the playoffs, he averaged 26 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Shot 47% from the field, 39% from 3. Had huge scoring games when you need him to. But the passing ability as well, the playmaking ability, he's never really a playmaking type of guard. I mean, when you have a guy like Jokic, he's more of a score first point. But in the playoffs, in the finals especially, I think every game in the finals, he had double-digit assists. Like, he really became kind of a playmaker, not only for, Jokic got that, but for his entire team. The shot-making ability was insane. The efficiency, even the defense wasn't that bad. Like, he had a phenomenal series to go from that, the injury, now come back to this and win a championship and saw their emotion on him after they won. It's just a phenomenal story. Now, he's jettisoned up the rankings, too, a little bit in terms of point guards. I've seen some wild things. I've seen some wild kind of takes and rankings about him maybe getting a little bit too high up there. But, I mean, Jamal Murray's still a phenomenal player. But, I mean, there were so many more guys that really impacted this team. Aaron Gordon was a guy that in Orlando was the number 4 overall pick, or number 4, number 5. One of those two. I think he was the 5th overall pick. Yeah, he was 4th overall. 4th overall pick. By the Orlando Magic on a very struggling Orlando Magic team. Has some moments, but didn't really look like a number 4 overall pick type of guy. And from the expectations that he had put on him from this Orlando team was kind of disappointing to a lot of us. And then he gets traded to Denver for basically nothing. Looking back at the trade now, the trade to acquire Aaron Gordon was Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and a 2025 first-round pick. That was all it was to take Aaron Gordon. And the first year and a half in Denver, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit, not disappointed, but I was a little bit kind of weird because I feel like he was still trying to find his place in the lineup, especially and then when Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were out for that season. It was kind of weird because we expected him to take the number 2 reigns, but he didn't really take those number 2 reigns. He was still kind of trying to find his way. I was like, all right, what do I score? Do I do this? But then this year, I feel like he had just he found his role in the team and played it really well. He was one of the better role players. I mean, he just did whatever they needed to ask to. He kind of did the dirty work on offense. Setting screens, cutting to the rim. Jokic, I don't even know how many times Jokic just dumped it down to Aaron Gordon for an easy dunk. The 3-point shooting was solid, especially in the playoffs. He got decent. He can handle the ball a little bit on defense. He's an amazing defender who's guarding some of the best players from a lot of different ranges. From Karl Anthony Towns in the first round. In the second round, he has to guard guys like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. In the conference finals, he guarded LeBron. And then the finals, guarding Jimmy Butler. I mean, he had a lot put on his plate defensively, and he answered. Love that from Aaron Gordon, a guy that kind of revived his career from being just a whatever to a very good role player. KCP was very big in this move. Michael Porter Jr. after having all the back problems to come back and be very effective for the championship team. Bruce Brown, man, Bruce Brown. He's my favorite. Honestly, I think he's my favorite role player. Like, even back in the Brooklyn days, I was like, he's the ultimate role player. He literally just does whatever he needs to. You need him to be the ball handler, he can do that. You need him to play make, he can do that. You need him to rebound and get gritty on defense, he can do that. You need him to pick and roll and score in the paint, floaters and stuff, he can do that. You need him to stretch the floor, now he can do that. You need him to guard one of the better players, he can do that. He can do anything he wants, he can do anything. You can plug him literally in almost any situation. You can put him at the point, he's the 2, the 3, the 4 sometimes, depending on the lineups and matchups. Like, he can do literally everything out there. And now he has a player option that I'm assuming he's going to decline for $7 million. And I hope he gets his payday. I mean, unfortunately, he might have to leave Denver to get that, depending on what his motives are. If he does want to stay in Denver, maybe get another ring, or if he thinks, now's the time. If maybe, who knows what happens next year and the year after, maybe I might not get as much money as I can right now because the stock's at an all-time high. Go get money. I wouldn't be mad at either one. I'd like to see him stay in Denver, but if he does leave and get his money, he deserves it, to be honest. And yeah, just so many guys. Jeff Green, love to see. So many guys I love to see got rings. Jeff Green, I love Jeff Green, man. I'm a Cavalier fan. Jeff Green, when he first signed to the Cavs, I honestly thought he was bad. Like, he had the year in Orlando, he was horrible. Came to Denver, came to Cleveland, was really good, and then has bounced around. I feel like every year he's signing a minimum contract. Played for 12 teams throughout his entire career. Had open heart surgery back in 2012. That people thought his career was in jeopardy. and he was a former top 5 pick as well that didn't really live up to expectations. And coming into Denver as this veteran guy, 36 years old, still having the athleticism, still wants to dunk. I swear, every time Jeff Green is 37, but he still feels like he's 17 because he literally tries to dunk on everybody, no matter how old he is. And he just played a great part as his vet in this team, getting this ring. He was really good. DeAndre Jordan got a ring as a vet center after all those Lob City days with the Clippers where he just kept failing and failing and failing. And has bounced around the league the last few years as a vet, coming to Denver and gets a ring. Ish Smith is my guy, man. I love Ish Smith so much. 13 teams in 13 years league. The ultimate journeyman has been on basically every team in the NBA. It feels like comes to Denver and finally gets a ring as a vet on this team. Reggie Jackson is an NBA champion after all those years with the Thunder and then the Pistons and then reviving his career with the Clippers and then getting traded to Denver. He got a ring. Thomas Bryant got a ring. Christian Brown, the ultimate winner apparently. Christian Brown won 3 high school championships, the NCAA championships last year, and then an NBA championship. The man can't stop winning for some reason. And then, of course, Coach Michael Malone. I mean, you see in the pre-games and all this stuff like that, just the intensity he has with these guys. Players really love him. He's a guy that, no days off, all hard work, all business, casual, all business, no playing games. There's literally a time where they're there's the closeout game in Game 6 against the Phoenix Suns when they were up 30, and the Suns came out in the second quarter and cut it to like 21, and he came into the huddle and yelled at his team, being like, "Hey, like we still got a game to play," and then every game, I guess Miami, I feel like before the game when they were like doing the starting lineups and stuff like that, they showed a soundbite of him before the game, and it was just super motivating to me. At least I was like, "Dang." Like, I could see it. Like, I want to play. I want to go play for the Nuggets now after hearing him talk. So, yeah, just an amazing coach. I finally gets awarded with a championship ring. And this Nuggets team in general, I feel like this Nuggets franchise has always been just solid. They have some good teams, but they just never got over the hump. And now they finally do. But now, I mean, who says this is the only one? I mean, all their main 4 core of Jokic, Murray, Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon all going to be back next year. They're all Jokic is the oldest at almost 28. Still gonna have guys like Christian Brown, Zeke Naji potentially maybe could become a guy next year on this team. KCP is still probably gonna be on this team. Even Payne Watson, I'm very excited. Payne Watson was the 30th overall pick last draft out of UCLA, and I saw some things from him late in the regular season. I think he could be a key rotational piece next season. But the main core of this team, Michael Malone, the main core of this team is gonna be here. Not even just next for a while. And looking at the entire West right now, of course, we got free agency and the draft coming up. A lot to think. But looking at the teams, like Denver is probably the only steady team right now. All the other Western Conference teams either have something going on or some free agency decision they have to make or some improvements they're going to have to make, decisions they're going to have to make to really get better. No one really knows what's going to happen in the West. The only certain thing right now is Denver. You're going to have to get through Denver. And if you can get through Denver, you're one heck of a team. So I don't see an end in sight. Of course, unless an unfortunate thing happens, which I'm praying and hoping that doesn't happen because that would really suck. But I mean, coming into next, if they have a similar team next year, maybe Bruce Brown gone, maybe guys like Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan are gone, but they can replace those guys with some decent players. Like, and as long as they have those core 4 players and Mike Malone, I mean, who says they can't repeat? Who says they can't three-peat? Who says this can't be the next dynasty potentially in the NBA? Maybe not dynasty when they win 5 championships, but dynasty in like for 8, 6, 7, 8 years they were competitive in at least the conference finals, NBA finals, have a couple rings, were just really competitive and a really tough team. Who says this can't be the next one? That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn on notifications, all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. We have said a lot. Got a playlist right here of the look in all 30 episodes. Want to go watch them or watch other stuff on my channel? I really appreciate that a whole lot. Getting up there in subscribers, so thank you so much. And now the off season, man, I'm super excited. We got draft stuff coming up. We got free agency, rumors. Next week is going to be a big draft week. I think the entire week next week is going to be all draft stuff. So if you like the NBA draft and stuff like that, stay tuned. We're doing a version 2 of my big board. We're doing a mock draft, reaction to the draft, all that stuff. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.